hearing people say, let's go see the museum, and the other person says, oh, well, you've seen one museum, you've seen them all. I thought they would not have seen this. My name is Betty Mann. I'm president of the Historical Society in Rock County. Back in 1994, which is a long time ago, someone asked me if I would serve on the board, and I said yes in a weak moment. And I went to the first meeting and came out president, and I've been president ever since. Back in 2000, I lost my husband and my oldest daughter. And as you can imagine, that Christmas was a tough Christmas for me. The very first Saturday in January of 2001, I was in the Cracker Barrel. And everything Christmas was half price. And I said to my daughter-in-law, you know, I had a tough Christmas and I've always wanted a wooden nutcracker, and I'm buying myself a belated Christmas present, and I paid $6 for one of the nutcrackers. And that's what started this whole thing. I had the collection in my home, and I had many people come and see it in my home. And it just kept getting bigger and bigger. My family gave me many, many of my collection. And anytime I went on a trip, I always tried to find a souvenir nutcracker from that trip. But when I donated my collection of 2,500, we put them in here 3 years ago, and then a gentleman from Sioux Falls came over and donated another 1,300. Every now and then we have someone who has been here and has some nutcrackers they have collected, and their children don't want them. And so, yes, we have many people who donate. To our knowledge, we are the third largest in the world. There's one in Leavenworth, Washington, that houses 7,000 nutcrackers. We have here 4,100, over 4,100. Most categories, if we have more than one nutcracker, we have them together. Here we have occupations, different occupations, and the military is down here, and then up at the top we have the larger ones. We have sports, we have animals, policemen, firemen, pirates. Our collection is also anything that kind of looks or related to a nutcracker. The lady that has the large collection does not have a rug or does not have dishes. She does not have puzzles. She does not have a throw like we have in our collection. And so our collection is different than hers. It would be fun to have the largest, but the problem is the space. Right now, we are full to the brim, really, and so it would be very difficult. We have some antiques from the late 20s and 30s that are antique dishes or pitchers, or we have one little dish that is very, very small, and it says gum guard on it. In the 1920s, gum was a premium, and you didn't chew your gum and throw it away. You had a dish that you put it on it and maybe chewed it the next day. That doesn't sound very good, but that was the way it was. At Christmas time, 4 years ago, I have a grandson who was then 8 years old, and he whispered in my ear, "Grandma, I made you a nutcracker out of my Legos." It is just Legos, kind of looks like a soldier, but in his eyes, it was a nutcracker, and it does have an open mouth, so we think it is. Nutcrackers were basically started in Germany, and the first nutcrackers did probably crack nuts, but the wooden nutcrackers, you'd have to have a very, very soft-shelled nut to be able to crack a nut with it. But nutcrackers started many, many, many years ago because nuts were always a basic part of our food that we ate, and so some of them look like pliers, kind of, but they have maybe a head on them, something different, and there's all different kinds of sizes and shapes of nutcrackers. And those early ones like that, many of them are metal. This nutcracker is made in Germany, and Christian Albrecht, when he first started having them, he would put his first name, Christian, on it. But now they're just called Steinbach. But the reason that this is quite valuable is this one is called the King of Nutcrackers, and because he's holding two. And if you look at the bottom, it is signed on the bottom and dated. There is two nutcrackers that are mechanical, and they're hooked up to the lights on the Christmas tree, and they actually march or walk, and their arms move. And those two are the only two in the whole collection that are the same. Otherwise, there's no duplicates. Collecting nutcrackers, I jokingly say it's a disease. Once you start doing it, it just kind of compels you to keep going. And it has been, I've had a very enjoyable 19 years or 18 years, whatever it is that I've been doing it. I've enjoyed every minute of it. And when I go on a trip or something and I see a nutcracker, or if I go into an antique shop or someplace that I see a nutcracker, and my adrenaline gets all going and I get very excited. And then once I buy it and put it on the shelf, then it's just like one of the other ones.
Postcards is made possible by the Minnesota Arts and Cultural Heritage Fund and the citizens of Minnesota. Additional support provided by Margaret A. Cargill Philanthropies, Mark and Margaret Yakel-Julien on behalf of Shalom Hill Farms, a retreat and conference center in a prairie setting near Windham, Minnesota. On the web at shalomhillfarm.org. Alexandria, Minnesota, a year-round destination with hundreds of lakes, trails, and attractions for memorable vacations and events. More information at explorealex.com. The Lake Region Arts Council's Arts Calendar, an arts and cultural heritage funded digital calendar showcasing upcoming art events and opportunities for artists in West Central Minnesota. On the web at lrac4calendar.org. Playing today's new music plus your favorite hits, 96.7 Cram. Online at 967cram.com.